Oh, I thought you were starting.
Are you going to start?
I'll start. Okay, let's see where this goes. All right, welcome to another episode of Design on Purpose, the WordPlay Studio podcast. Today we're going to take a little bit of a different avenue than last week. I think last time we were speaking about purpose and saying we're going to maybe get a little bit deeper into that. But this week we've decided to focus on something that's quite, I guess, popular in the world right now, and it's quite a hot topic, and that's NFTs and I guess the crypto and metaverse space in general, and how that applies to, you know, what's going on in the world in the future that we're moving into in business and in culture and in all kinds of these different things. So we will get back to, I guess, purpose and some of those things as well, but we figured we've been quite excited and we've been researching a lot about crypto, not just recently, but a lot recently as well, but over the last few years and particularly the last sort of 6 months on a particular project. So yeah, and I guess it's quite a complex topic trying to understand the whole, you know, crypto, NFT, metaverse space and how they all relate. So maybe I'll pass it to you, Rix, and see if you can kind of start unpacking some of this. Is I guess, where do we start? Do we start with crypto or we start with where NFTs, what NFTs are?
Well, I think it's good to kind of understand NFTs, because I think, you know, most people kind of generally know what crypto is or have heard of crypto before, but I think NFTs is something new in the mix.
Yep.
An NFT, in a simple way, it stands for non-fungible token. So what that is in a sense is like, it's like a digital certificate or a digital ownership or something, and it could be something in a physical realm that also has this digital side to it as well. It's kind of like if you're buying a skin or something in a game, or like a device in a game, or a piece of clothing or something like that in a digital game. That's essentially like an NFT.
It's like a one-of-a-kind thing, right? And the digital part of it is the verification that one-of-a-kind thing is owned by you. Right?
Yeah, like it's attached to your like Web3 wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Like a MetaMask or something.
Yeah, which is, I guess, another part of the puzzle of understanding all this stuff is how you purchase NFTs on the blockchain. Because are NFTs necessarily only on the blockchain? They're just like, the concept is not blockchain specific, right?
No, I don't think so. I think like an NFT, like a non-fungible token, could be like an artwork or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you own that. And like if you buy like a famous artwork, it usually will come with some kind of like certification that says, you know, and that's owned by you.
And it would probably include like the ownership history of the artwork or something like that, right? Which is what happens with the blockchain too.
Yeah.
It kind of shows the from the point of birth of that NFT or that asset, it shows on the blockchain whose hands that's been through and where it currently is, right? Yeah. And it can also keep information in the records as well, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's kind of like, I think it's so new, this idea, or like this digital NFT. And it's like, I think that like anything on the internet, you know, we're in Web 3.0 right now. It's like you kind of start to see people playing around with this idea in kind of like a playful sense. And then the utility starts to come in and the ideas start to expand, right? It's like, you know, we're seeing a lot of like avatars, you know, coming out right now, like Bored Apes, for example. And if people want to see some of these NFT projects, a really good place to go and have a look is OpenSea.io, and you can see like a lot of different types of projects there, some with more utilities than others. And you know, these things are these projects are expanding all the time, like especially if you're looking at something like Gary V's VFriends project, which is pretty cool. And I'm really bummed out that we missed out on those, because we knew it was coming, and we
just snoozed on it.
Well, we were checking it out, and we were like, we really wanted to, but at the time we just couldn't do it.
Yeah, but it's so interesting to see how that's progressed as well, and all these projects, because Bored Apes as well. I was just checking out their website before, which has changed to it. It's added more utility in it since the last time I looked, right? So originally it was just buying the artwork. And obviously, I don't know, a lot of people might have heard about Bored Apes. Like, it went pretty viral for a while there. A lot of mainstream sort of celebrities and people, culture figureheads and stuff were all buying these Bored Apes, which were like these, these 8-head graphics, all these sort of different styles and themes. But now they've opened a bathroom, so you can log in with your Bored Ape into their I think it might be in the metaverse, but you log in through their site. And there's like a graffiti bathroom they've just launched where you can like tag on the walls, and it's like things like that. But and then they have member specific places to go. So it's like, it's so interesting because it's so new, this space where people are launching the projects without even really having the utility fully fleshed out, or in terms of what you're going to deliver. It's not even fully fleshed out when people are buying into these. Like, there's a lot of people jumping on it, going in good faith that something will happen with it.
It's like based on trust, right? It's like being an investor on a project, because like you're gonna back somebody that you believe in, and it's like looking at Gary Vee's project, for example. Like I knew, like even before that launch, I'm like, this guy's going to do something with these. It's he's going to obsess over, and he's going to push it, to the nth degree. And I'm really excited to see where that goes. Yeah. And see what he does with it, because he's got such a creative mind, Gary Vee, and he's definitely determined, and he's really sticks to his guns.
Yeah, sorry. He's really put himself at like the forefront of like culture now too, like, because he's always been out there and big on social media, but now he's just like totally transformed through all this NFT and blockchain stuff. And also like he's also started an NFT consultancy as part of his firm, Vayner Media, and then they've just released the lineup of VCon. So with the VFriends NFTs, when you buy a VFriends, which the first series are like these little doodles that Gary draws. They're just like these funny little cute sort of what's the lobster one?
Loyal Lobster.
I really
and
like
to get that one.
Yeah, and like all these cool little ideas of these little characters, and they're literally not they're just Gary's drawings. He's not like a fine artist or anything. But what it enables you to get is tickets to VCon for 3 years, which is this conference that he's just released the lineup for, and it kicks off in May, I think, this year. So you start to see the potential of how these NFTs are like, like they're like memberships or like tickets, or they access community.
Yeah, like the price on that Loyal Lobster, I saw one was going for sale last night. I think we could have picked it up for like $2,000 or something. Yeah. When we were looking and like when we were watching it, and it's now like 48. Like the last bid on it on OpenSea was like 48,000 US or something like that.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, and he's rewarding people, the first what do you call them? Like the first people to buy into it. The early adopters are he's giving, so the second series he's like kind of reimagined all the characters and brought on artists and stuff to visualize them into another level, and everyone that bought the first series of the classic doodles automatically gets a second one for free. They're giving them away to reward all the people. So it's like this brilliant way to generate a really loyal and strong community by rewarding people for their early investments, which is what is driving the project financially. So it's like this cool way of bringing people into the brand and into the culture, and opening the doors up in a way to participate with people and brands and businesses in general.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And it's like every business is going to get into NFTs at some point. It's just going to be like, a thing that you do, and and there's like things like, for example, like real estate agents. Real estate, for example, it's like when you buy a house, because essentially an NFT, that's the other part that I didn't really talk about, is like a smart contract. It's like a contract that you own something. And there can be like tokenomics or parts of that contract like embedded in how that works. So it's like if you buy a house and you attach or there's an NFT that's attached when you buy that house, and there's something in the contract, for example, that said like every time that house then gets sold from then on, the owner that created that digital NFT gets like a 10%. You know, and I think that's what Gary Vee's done with his revenue on his NFT. So every time they resell on, he's continuing to get revenue for that. So it's like an endless revenue stream. It's like, you know, like imagine if you could do that with like ticket stubs or something. Like, you know, you go to like some iconic, you know, concert like Woodstock or something like that. You've got the ticket stub. If that was an NFT and that was getting sold as like a collector's item, a collectible, then that person over years and years and years would get that 10% of that, or whenever it was resold.
Yeah, it's interesting because the tokenomics keep the money in circulation, so it just doesn't burn out, and it keeps getting reinvested back into the project, which is it's pretty interesting. And then there's this whole idea as well around like, you know, rarities of things. So it's like, that's what's kind of cool about it, because I think it's very nostalgic for a lot of people, because obviously like a lot of people are either into cards or collecting some sort of thing when you're a kid, right? Like I would collect all kinds of different
we collect stuff all the time, like even in here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, look at all of our
trinkets and
things that we've collected over time, and it's like, you know, I think people do that it's part of human nature to collect and to, you know, find value in things, in memories and artifacts, and to trade and to to share it. Like it was an economy in that before currency was around.
Yeah, that's interesting, because you're that's it, isn't it? It's you're trading assets, rather than trading like it's a trading service.
Like remember that economy. Like we'd hear some of those uncles out west in like First Nations peoples here, and they would talk about when they walked across countries, like they would pick certain items up from some places to like trade. You know, like maybe they had certain rocks that were from their place or are really good for making axes or like
spearheads,
grinding stones or whatever, and they would take them and they would trade and they would exchange.
Yeah.
So that's been going on since like ever.
Yeah, and I guess it's all down to and I guess anything's like that too, but I guess it's the perceived value of what you're trading it for. Are people trading NFTs for NFTs, or you're just buying?
I don't know if that's... I'm not sure if that exists, but...
Yeah. I've seen that people are co-owning them. There's like different apps coming out where you can all go in on an NFT and divvy it up, so you can own a portion. You don't have to own like a whole V-friend or whatever. You can own 10% or whatever. And
what about the VCon? Like, is it timeshare or something?
Well, I wonder if I'm not sure if you can part own a V-friends actually. I just use that as an example, but... Yeah, you just all have to get in all the same clothes or something and walk through. But yeah, it's super interesting, and I guess it'll be interesting to see where it goes in the long-term future, because obviously we're talking about digital assets and they're becoming a more and more regular thing, and I guess in gaming it's already really big. You know, like a lot of kids and things that play Fortnite and other things are used to paying money to up their levels and up their gear inside games, which to I guess Gen Zs or Gen whatever they are, the kids of the today are that's just like a normal
quarantines.
The quarantines, yeah. They're I'd imagine they're that's just normal for them. Yeah, sure. Like it's worth it because it's got the value. They play that game, whatever. Yeah, so we just had a bit of a tech malfunction for a second there. One of the cameras overheated, but it's back on. We're cool. So
it's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see after. But what I was saying is, I guess for the kids of today or the younger generations, it's normal for them, and it's older people or even us or whoever. It's like it's been a bit of a learning process kind of getting into it all, but like you're saying, the future is going to become very much based around NFTs. Like there's so much potential with them, right? Like it's going to revolutionize the whole way people interact with brands and interact with people and interact online in general. But and I guess there's like, and we talk about this is like the kind of danger of becoming this like tech like digital reality where you're living in the metaverse and you know, like, you know, all your clothes are digital and you're eating digital food. Like,
We don't want that.
You know, no, we don't want that. And I think it's really important and also very interesting, like Gary Vee. And also his other project, the Flyfish
But he's got
restaurant.
real life stuff going on.
Yes.
It's not like, and it's stuff that's, you know, it's educational. It's about learning and growing and
bringing people
bringing
together.
community together. Yeah, there's a physical aspect to it too. It's not like a
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's what's so exciting about it, because like I guess on one, like for me anyway, one side I'm like, oh, you know, this digital world where everyone's just locked in online all the time, but then it's like, oh, but these actually a great way, because there's a lot of positives about being online too, you know, like you know, especially with the NFTs and things, like these different projects, they're meeting digitally, but then they have these annual events or different things where you actually are stepping out and being your real self in the real, well, in this dimension anyway.
yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see how quickly and what new projects start to come into play over the next little while.
Like I would love to do an NFT.
So would I.
Like WordPlay, we should really start doing an NFT soon.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like we already have like physical things. You know, could we turn them into NFTs and create some value and community around it? Like, you know, and we've got so much to offer in terms of like all this knowledge that we've acquired over this time, and other projects. You know, like Be a Creative, which we're going to get cranking again sometime in the next year. So it like and like you said, it's like you don't really have to have all the utility worked out straight away. So it's like,
No.
you know, what value can we create? Like, you know, for those different, you know, rarities of NFTs. And, you know, how can you include the community in creating that value? Because people will tell you.
Yeah, that's true. Once you've got some input and feedback from you know, people who are, you know, on the same wavelength and have the same sort of values and view for the world as we do, you know, you know, we've already had a few discussions around this already of what kinds of things we could create and what kind of you know, world we're working towards, and then how would that, I guess, manifest through an NFT community or a community in general that's NFT by, you know, by the way of entry or participation or whatever. Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll have a lot more conversations about that.
Yeah. And then also with Be Creative too, you know, like there's so much potential there. And you know, I would imagine, you know, these people that are getting on some of these projects early, these early adopters of VFriends, for instance, like imagine VFriends in 5-10 years.
Well, yeah, Gary Vee said he's trying to he wants to make Disney, his own version of Disney. And I believe him. I think he's going to do it.
I think so too.
And I think he's going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. And that's another interesting point, is like the IP around NFTs, right? Like you are kind of well, you don't have to, but a lot of it is around, like Gary Vee's like, yeah, Smurf's an NFT, you know, like everything that we loved and knew as kids, or these brands or themes or stories and stuff. He's like, that's all NFTs, you know, they can all be that in the today's day, like that's what's going to happen. And it's like building this story and experience, and you know, it's not just the artwork, it's so much more than that. And as we're
keep going on that, I'll fix the camera, keep going.
And as we're learning, it's there's just going to be more and more potential utility in there, and people are really get an ownership of something too, because it's like you're really participating in a brand. Like when you commit to buying an NFT, whether it's from Gary Vee or from a Bored Ape or whatever, like you're really you know, you in a way, or you don't have skin in the game in a way, but you're really joining the community. You're not kind of just watching from afar. You're like joining that movement of that project. It's kind of bringing like brand advocacy and brand loyalty and that sort of stuff to like a whole nother level.
Yeah, it is. As you're backing something before it's fully formed. You're going in on it. And like a lot of these NFT projects, I reckon, are going to just like fail, because I think it's like a long-term game. It's got hype right now. There's excitement. Yep. You know, people like artists that have probably been making stuff for years are like getting on board, and finally there's a really great way for them to monetize some of these digital artworks that they've been making. But yeah, it's like there's so much more to it, and there's so much more to emerge around what's possible with digital assets like this.
Yeah. And I guess going back to like all like, you know, how most projects will tank, is that it's a business. You know, a lot of people are kind of just jumping on the hype train, but really you're building a whole nother business, or a whole, you know, an ecosystem of business, whether it's a sub brand or it's your core business or whatever. But, you know, business is still business. Projects aren't destined to succeed because you're just there doing it and giving it 100% at that point in time. It's like, and you see that a lot around these crypto projects, and obviously we've been exposed to a few crypto projects lately, and it's like it's the same deal, even though it's in the crypto space, but it's all about a long-term, you know, you got to have that long-term vision and the right structure and systems in place in order to actually execute on what you're doing. Because it's all good to say, oh, we're this and that, and we have this great technology, or this token does this certain thing, but it's really just an idea until it comes into play. And a lot of people are like making these roadmaps, and it's kind of like, if anyone doesn't know what a roadmap is, but I guess it's like
like milestones,
a simple milestone business plan up front that you can kind of high level.
A lot of them are kind of like, they end up changing very quickly, don't they, early on, when people realize like what's involved with certain utilities, or like the project might change course based on feedback from community and whatever it is, or partners come on, and then they kind of integrate some part of their technology or their vision, and then things kind of change and evolve. So I kind of take the roadmaps with a grain of salt. But yeah, it's like you're saying, it's just like any business. It's like taking the time and actually playing a really long game with the utility of the token. It's like baseball cards, you know, like old school baseball teams over time, like those old cards are really valuable. The teams are still around. You know, how many variations of merch have they had? Like, you know, brands, graphics, like there's so much involved in that storytelling along the way and the evolution of it. And it's like, you know, when you see what Gary Vee's done, those early sketches, it's like, you know, how much would one of the original drawings of like Mickey Mouse have cost? Like, what would that be worth now if that was it?
Yeah,
you know?
a lot.
Yeah, it would be worth a fortune. So it's like,
and for the diehard fans or people that really care about, you know, Mickey Mouse, they will put in, you know, they'll make that part of their life's mission to get one of those things because they care about it. So, you know, it really is something that they brings value to their life or their happiness or whatever, or being a part of that, you know, community.
Yeah. So how would someone start, do you think, like learning a little bit more about NFT space and how potentially they could apply that to their business? Yeah, wow. Well, like we got kind of exposed to the space, or not NFTs, but crypto a while back. And so we've sort of been getting drip fed it, I guess, through the years, which has made it easier than trying to go head first into all the information. I don't know about the drip feeding. Well, in terms of like I've been digging pretty deep into learning about the crypto stuff. Yeah, but I mean, in terms of when the world changes, it kind of like adds to the knowledge rather than like going, like imagine knowing nothing about it and then starting researching it now. It's like this huge sort of thing. Like now it's NFTs and things like that, and back then it wasn't. I don't know. You research a lot into it, but like and even Gary, you know, we keep talking about Gary Vee, but he says do 50 hours of research and just start on Twitter. But there's so much content out there, like on different social media platforms and YouTube, people explaining, and you can kind of just even on I think they call it World of Women is an NFT project, and they have a really good resource library there too, actually, on their Notion. You can go onto their website, and there's a really great starting point around all the lingo and what's crypto, what's decentralized, what's DeFi, has a whole bunch of different things. So I'd probably recommend that. It is a good place to start too. Yeah. What about you? That's good. I don't know, like I think Twitter's really good for crypto, just like looking up hashtags like NFTs or, you know, like NFT art or NFT projects but I think just hashtag NFT.
And how would you?
And
How would
OpenSea, just getting into OpenSea and having a look, like going and seeing what the ranking is of the projects, or like, just, and then diving into those projects, jumping on their Discords, seeing what the community's like, what are people saying, because a lot of these NFT projects have got Discord communities. And just kind of like taking the time to kind of filter through and see what the projects are like, seeing what utility's coming, what's the community saying, what's the vibe,
who are the founders and the team.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I was going to ask that, like, how do you know which ones to trust? Because
I don't know. I haven't
because they can look really good too. They might have a really good artist, and the art might be nice, or it might have a nice design on the at face value.
Yeah.
And that's one part of it, obviously. But how else do you know how to trust?
Well, I just think it's like anything. It's like, it's risky. You're investing in risk.
Yep.
It's a risky investment.
Yeah.
Like, so investing in somebody like Gary Vee is a less risky investment because
track record.
He's got a good track record, he's going to go for it. And yeah, I think it just it comes down to the people. Like any business, it's like like you're saying, with the track record, what has the team done, and how committed are they to actually going for it.
And obviously, like you mentioned, community is what these are all sort of based on. I guess like any business too, you need customers or an audience or whatever. And with crypto, it's really around this community thing. So how would you go around assessing a community? Like if you find a project and you check out some of their channels and
like when you, I think just like activity in the group, like for example, like Dogecoin is not a NFT obviously, but it's a cryptocurrency that a lot of people bag. It's got a bit of a stigma to it. It's a meme coin, but it's got an amazing community. Like you see some of the stuff that this community's done. Like they got together and they sponsored a NASCAR. I think they raised a bunch of money and like built wells in like some developing country. I'm not sure where that was. There was one time where all these Dogecoin wallets got hacked and the community got together and like all chipped in to like put some of the Dogecoins back into all these people's wallets. So there's, like that's just an example of like a community that's like really like has a culture to it. And I'm not too familiar with like what's going on in terms of like the cultures around these NFTs. But I think just like, you can get on those Discords and you can start a conversation, you can ask questions and see, and do your research. Like don't just rely on the Discord and be very careful of scammers, because there are a lot of like people that scam on those groups as well. So I think that's something to be wary of too. Like if people direct message you, like, don't be sending any crypto to anyone.
Yeah. Don't ever give away your
be careful. But there is a great resource there. There are really active communities, and it is all visible on OpenSea, and you can see the communities and the channels for these projects.
And how would you go around I guess mitigating or dealing with the turbulence of the ever-changing market?
Look, I personally haven't bought an NFT yet. I need to do some research and actually, like, I wish I got on the Gary Vee one. Maybe we get in on the next one.
The second series,
I
think we gotta get there.
And at some point, I want us to get the lobster. So we'll see what happens there, but I would like to. Like it's like with investing in anything, like the stock market, goes up and down, whatever. It's like, you can't. I think you have to kind of create some, like you don't want to put everything that you've got into it. It's like you want to do it in a safe way, and you kind of want to, like with anything, like diversify your investments, right? Diversify your portfolio. Yeah. And that's some kind of one way of mitigating risk. But like anything, the crypto market crashes and then it goes back up, and I just try not to look. I try not to be checking it all the time.
I wonder if Dogecoin have they brought any NFTs out or that community?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I feel like there's potential there.
I'm not.
It's waiting for another like a re-emergence or something of Doge.
If you listen to Matt Wallace, The Final Sound, I mean, he's always trying to give Dogecoin a rev up, but it's coming. Like he's saying that there's another like we're at the beginning of altcoin season, and what he means by that is like because a lot of the other coins were still going down and Dogecoin was going up. Anyway, that's what he was saying. So
I hope
he reckons Dogecoin's set for another spike.
Okay, cool.
But that's not financial advice. Do your own research.
Yeah. And I hope to think that like because it has such a that project has that kind of like a historical sort of story to it. So I imagine I'd love to know how that kind of plays out.
I'd love to talk to that guy. There's two of the guys, but the Dogecoin guys. I'd love to talk to. I forget what his name is, but there's one guy that I'm pretty sure was from Sydney.
Yeah,
he doesn't live.
He doesn't want you to email him.
No, he doesn't.
He's left the project.
Oh yeah, I looked on his. I don't know who his LinkedIn or
he works at Adobe now or something.
He works at Adobe, yeah. Anyway, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, is there anything else we should cover whilst we're on NFTs?
You can talk about it for ages, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there's going to be more to come. I think we just keep up to date with some of these projects that are coming out, and I'd like to do a bit more research on some of these upcoming projects, and I think just like we need to get our project going.
Yeah.
So
and if you might not be able to see it on camera, but one of our values is no half-arsener. So if we do it, we're going all out.
There.
We're not gonna muck around if we go for go down the NFT path, and we do believe that it's inevitable that we want to start now because we can already see where it's going, and there's so much potential, and it kind of like ties a lot of stuff together. Like this whole thing, it's just got there's so much goodness, like potential goodness there to do something amazing.
You know what else could be an NFT project? You know all those graphics we did for the Murray-Darling Basin? Like we've got all those glyphs. Like imagine if you like made them all NFTs and they funded some like water project or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like that's one that's already done.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the
design. Artwork, the illustration. Yeah, well, we'll stay tuned on that front. We're going to keep ideating, and be outside of this podcast we're always chatting about stuff like that, and just kind of pushing ideas forward. So it's kind of becoming part of our I guess next sort of projects, like wordplay projects to work on now that the podcast is moving, which is a great first step. So stay tuned for that. And where can you find us?
You can find us on Instagram at Wordplay Studio, and Telegram. You can search us on Telegram, Wordplay Studio, and our website is wordplaystudio.com. And if you wanted to email any questions or topics that you think that would be great for us to share some knowledge on and talk about, you can email us at hello@wordplaystudio.com.
Yeah, or you can DM us too. We'll
on
be
Instagram.
on the gram as well. So we look forward to hearing from you because we will be coming. We'll continue this on a weekly basis. It would be great to hear what everyone wants to hear or learn about. And as we said before, we'll soon start to get some exciting guests on the show to cover some, I guess, a wide array of topics, huh?
Yeah, we've got some good people we've met over the last 10 years. So
yeah,
I can't wait to bring some of these people on.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. And that's another episode of Design on Purpose, and we'll catch you next episode.